Why didn't he put India on the list? And this is a question that has to be asked in the context of Pakistan and Bangladesh being put on it. It wasn't called the Pakistani variant or the Bangladeshi variant. It was the flipping Indian variant. So why didn't they put India on the list? Answer, because he wanted to do a lap of honour on the sort of lipstick on a pig trade deal with India. The big holes, the big problems, the big privations, the big disasters of Brexit he needs to give you something to throw at people like me. Because we resist daily the urge to scream "I told you so" from the highest tower as fishermen and farmers and importers and exporters and people in Northern Ireland and people who want to do business with Northern Ireland, hoteliers and caterers and restaurateurs and hauliers and grocers and food retailers and food wholesalers and farmers and fruit pickers and vegetable growers, all of them queuing up to describe how their lives have been rendered worse by a political decision that they were promised would make their lives better. Boris Johnson needs to give you something to throw at people like me. Right? So what on earth can he give you? It doesn't have to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be substantial. It doesn't even have to be true. You just need something, don't you? So that, if we're talking about people booing the England football team, you just shout Marxist without really understanding what you're talking about. But as long as you've got something to shout, then he's seen you right. That's where we are. You need a fig leaf, right? You need a distraction. That's all that the Indian trade deal was going to be. He wanted to fly there. He wanted to be photographed signing something, and then when we point out what's happened to the fishing industry or the farming sector or fruit pickers or vegetables or hauliers, or when you just make the list yourself, when people point out the reality of what's happening in this country in all of those sectors, then those of you still clinging to the carcass of Brexit would be able to shout, "Ha ha! India!" They did it with Norway. I don't know if you saw this. They announced a big trade deal with Norway, and the Prime Minister of Norway came out and said, "Yeah, well, we're glad we've done it, but it's not as good as what we had before." But in Brexit Britain, that's a win. Not as good as what we had before. Yes! What do we want? Something that's not as good as we had before. When do we want it? As soon as possible, please, Liz Truss. So that's and this is the bit where you can disagree with me. I think there may be another explanation as to why he didn't do it. Why India? Answer, lipstick on a pig. Result, 4 more weeks. 4 more weeks of this infernal restriction, privation, deprivation. And what was the vaccine supposed to deliver? Yeah, an earlier release. Boris Johnson has squandered all of the social and economic benefits of the vaccine success that volunteers up and down this country work their fingers to the bone to deliver. He has squandered it upon the altar of his ludicrous self-interest and his desperation to disguise the reality or to distract you from the reality of his ridiculous Brexit. Reduced to claiming that they signed a treaty by accident without knowing what was in it or what would be expected. Reduced to trying to distract you from the reality of what's happening in your own country by signing some meaningless piece of paper in India. And in order to achieve that ludicrous distraction, not doing what was obviously necessary when it was obviously necessary. Result, extension of lockdown. Reason, Boris Johnson. All right, pick a hole in that.